So here's a little update on the Blue Mach 1. Here it is at work in the early hours of the morning. You can see how beautiful it is. This car is outstanding. I love this car. Right now I'm daily driving the car and I absolutely love it. Of course it's hard to daily drive because for 10 years I have not daily driven this car. I had always driven my Bullet or my higher mileage Mach 1s and stuff, and if you follow the channel, you know I have a 97 GT that I'll probably be daily driving soon, but I am enjoying driving this car. Now, an experience that just happened with this car that is kind of embarrassing, but it's also kind of funny when you look back on it, is what just happened with it. I had taken the Tahoe with my three boys out to go to the park and go get donuts and hang out while my wife was doing homework for her college. And so I was out on the town with the boys in our white Tahoe, and she called me and said, "Hey, I got to get to work. Where are you?" And I said, "Oh, well, I'm across town." And I didn't really think that she was going anywhere then. And she doesn't really drive the Mach 1 or any of the Mustangs. She knows how to drive stick shift, but she just doesn't have a lot of practice, and it's not really that important for her to go out and actually do it. And so we came to the conclusion that it would probably be best if she just took the Mach 1 to work, which I don't really like the parking lot where it is because there's not a lot of open spaces and there's kind of a hill on each exit of the parking lot. And she's not that great at driving the stick shift, so I had some concerns of why I didn't want her to take it to work, but I said, go ahead and do it, that's fine. And so she took the car to work, and I happened to drive past her work on the way home with the kids. And I thought, well, let me go look at the car. I want to see if it's like smells like clutch, or if there's anything wrong, if somebody's parked next to it, or if somebody's gonna ding the door or whatever. So I just walked over to the car and looked it over, but I didn't get too close because where she was at work, there were big windows and she could probably see me out there like looking over the car, and I didn't want her to get the idea that I didn't trust her or anything. And so even though I wanted to just check the car out, I kind of looked it over from a few feet away, and then I just walked off. And so I started to drive home, and I thought, you know what, I've always wanted to hear my car from the outside, and she's going to be driving it home anyway, so I should probably just stick around, and then I can follow her home and I can listen to the car and just see how it sounds from outside and everything. And another thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to see how she drove the car, because we always have this conversation that when we go out to practice driving the Mustangs together, she always says that she gets real nervous because I'm sitting there in the front seat and that the cars mean so much to me and that I'm so particular about the cars. And so she said that she always drives better when I'm not there as far as stick shift goes. She's like, I just feel like you're not judging me, and like I can relax a little more and I can just drive the car. So I thought, okay, well, maybe this is a good opportunity where I can kind of park nearby and I can record her driving off, and that way I can see how she really drives without me there, and you know, how she uses the clutch, or whether she rides the clutch out or if she drags the clutch, or whatever. And it would be like a real example of how she drives. And I was curious how she was going to go up the hills that were on either side of the parking lot. And I was going to let her do it herself, and I wasn't going to just show up and take the keys from her and do it. I thought this would be a good example of me letting her drive the car, showing that I'm okay to let her drive the car, and I can see how she does it. And if, something happened, I'm there to help her. Like, say she kept stalling on the hill and couldn't get out, then I would help her. Um, and so I parked in a couple different places, but I wanted to be incognito where she wouldn't see me because I didn't want to spoil it. And I had the kids with me. We were in the Tahoe. I got them ices. We're just having drinks and hanging out. And so we backed up across the parking lot into some spot that was nearby. And I could tell that there were windows behind me where people were watching, and I knew people who worked in the building where I was parked could probably see me hanging out there and kind of wondering what I was doing. So I'm gonna admit right off that this was a little bit suspicious on my end, and I wasn't like being like sneaky. It's not like I was hiding in my car. I was standing outside the car with the windows down and sharing the icy drinks with my kids. Like, I had my kids with me. It's not like I was like you know hiding and like being a creeper. But the people in the office, I think they started to wonder what I was doing there, and that I was watching the building across the street so much for. And so I can understand that they were a little bit suspicious. And so some lady walked out, and she walked down to get the mail, but I could tell she was kind of like sizing me up to see what I was doing there. And she came back and kind of walked around the Tahoe, like I don't know if it was like kind of like a just letting me know that there are people around kind of a thing. So I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm not going to stand here and like explain what I'm doing to this lady. And so she goes back inside, and so I'm waiting, and finally my wife starts to come out. So I go over to this kind of stucco pillar where I could see the Mach 1 and see her from afar, and I start to record. And right then, some guy walks out that the lady at the business had probably told him, "Oh, go outside and confront that man. He's being weird and he's watching him, and he's creepy." And I don't know what the crap she freaking told him, but he goes out there trying to be all macho and like confronts me right as I'm starting to record my video. And so I'm not gonna like stop my video and be like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. This is my name. Let me give you my driver's license, and I'll tell you what I'm doing here." I just said, "Hey, it's my wife. I'm making a video. Okay, just leave me alone." And of course he didn't like that, so he gets all stupid and like takes a jab at me and says, "You shouldn't be stalking your wife." And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, you're such an idiot." Like, but I just ignored it so I could record what I went there to do. And he also mentioned that he should call the police on me, which it's not like I was doing anything illegal. And it's like, dude, if I was trying to do something like that or be sketchy, I wouldn't take my kids with me, and I wouldn't be like standing in front of your business out in the open. I'd be like hiding around a corner somewhere. And that little jabbed comment of me stalking my wife made me kind of mad, because it's like, dude, you don't know me. You don't know anything about me. My wife and I are completely in love. We've been married for 13 years. We have an outstanding relationship. We have 3 little boys. Everything is great in our relationship. So it's like, dude, you have no idea who I am or what I'm doing. Just shut up. He probably thought I was in relationship issues or whatever, but anyway, here's the footage of that, and you can hear him in the background of the video. Oh, and by the way, my wife did an incredible job driving the car. It sounded great. She did a good job, so I want to put that in there real quick too.
Hey, can I help you?
Yeah, they can bring my wife, okay?
Yeah, you're just hanging out here. You know you're on camera, right?
Yeah, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't be stalking her.
Alright, now for the good part. This is what we were here for. Good, she didn't see me. Had a girl, she did a great job, and then by the time I got to the stoplight, she had seen me, but the car sounded great. So we went to the store real quick, and I got out, and the first thing I did was show her the video and tell her how proud I was of her driving the car. And I was like, "Yeah, that was great. Here's the video." It's not like I was hiding anything from her. Right then, her boss called her and said that the people across in the other business building were scared, and called and said that some creepy stalker guy was recording her, and that he claimed to be her husband, and they wanted to make sure that that's right. And she's like, "Yeah, it was just my husband." And I will look at this at 2 ways, and I am grateful that the people in the business across the street do keep an eye on each other, and that if anything suspicious is happening, that they'll, be there for anyone. So I like that, and I'm grateful for that. But at the same time, it's like, dude, I already told that guy what I was there doing. I already told him it was my wife, you know, and it's like, okay, you can like calm down a little bit about it. And so, you know, Danny Johnson and I, we always have our phones out. We're always recording stuff, and it's just first nature to us. So maybe to other people it isn't. And so we have to remember that. Maybe things could look a little bit like suspicious or whatever. So I learned a lesson there. I'll be a little less creepy, I guess, or whatever. But anyway, so rest of the update for the car is just taking good care of it. Like I said, I've been daily driving the car, and it's been getting a little dusty. I haven't driven it in the rain, and it just gets dusted out from being here in the desert. And it's a really great climate for the car. There's no salt on the roads, anything like that. And so just washing the dust off of it is kind of the only thing I really have to do with it besides changing the oil and upkeeping on it. And you know, I noticed that it does get a little dirty on the inside from use or picking up the kids and having McDonald's bags and stuff in it from getting fast food and stuff. But just washing the car and taking care of it is basically what I've been doing with it lately. So here I am in the garage with my microfiber towels drying it off, and just trying to be real easy on the car and keep it in the garage. You know, it doesn't see a lot of sunlight anyway, so the paint's in good shape, but I'll be waxing it here real quick, and you know, same with the other cars we have. And so I'm just trying to be real careful with cleaning it up and not scratching the paint. I worked with my friend doing mobile detailing on the side for several years, and so he taught me how to take good care of the cars and not use t-shirts to wash them with. And these microfiber towels are the best thing for them. So that's basically what I do, is just try to keep them clean and everything. This is just a picture of it around town, running some errands, and just every time I walk out to it, I love the car. It looks great. And so I also did remove the instrument cluster and took out the ABS light because I'm just sick of seeing it on all the time. I don't know if I'll get around to it. And so I was hanging out with my little boy in the car working on it, and you can hear him in the background here. It's kind of funny. But anyway, something I did was I took the top of the Mach 460 cover off, and it's like the part behind the rear seat, and that's where these wires are, and these go to the speakers and everything. You can see that they've been tapped into before and wrapped back up, but all they had was one little piece of electrical tape stuck to them. It wasn't even wrapped around them from the previous owner. And so I got this brush on electrical tape and decided to get in there and just totally cover these things, because I don't want these wires touching each other, causing a fire, or you know, blowing fuses, having the sound system have any issues. So when it was all done, this is how it looked. I thought it was really good, and I went a little extra far on the wires just to make sure everything was covered. And that's just a little bit of update on that. I had been in there before because the car had aftermarket speakers that were not as good as the Mach speakers that I had to replace, and so I'm glad I went in there and fixed that problem. So then I just took the car to a meet, and this is where everybody in town's hanging out. And this isn't my American Muscle Car Club meet, and I really don't like this meet as much as my own car meets, because people here just try to prove something all the time. But I did take my cousin with me as my cousin, and he's got the Red Mach 1 that has the bad engine right now, so any chance he can ride around with me in the cars is a good time, and we're always enjoying our cars together and cruising and stuff. So I took him with me to the meet, and we went and drove around a little bit, and then we went out to dinner and got something to eat. So that's kind of the update on the car. I'm definitely using it a lot more than I ever have, but I love the car, and I'm trying to take as good a care as I can of it. So there's a little update of the car, and a kind of a funny story, kind of a stupid story, but that's what happened, and that's all I can say about that. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more update videos on all my cars and more Mustang stories.